And welcome back to our final segment of NBC Current Affair. And on set with me now is Jacob Ekinia. He's the project director for the Building Resilience to Climate Change project. Mr. Ekinia, now the CCDA, as the designated national authority, provides overall coordination and monitoring of climate change-related issues, activities and programs in regulated sectors of PNG. Now, what are some other interventions in relation to climate resilience that the CCDA is embarking on for Papua New Guinea, apart from ADB and others?
Climate Change and Development Authority, CCDA, is as you rightly said, is a national designated authority, and we provide a letter of no objection for any climate change initiatives, especially in trying to deal with international financing agencies. Climate Change and Development Authority came into being from 2009 onwards, and I think the government, in its foresight, has established this organization because with the impact of climate change, every forward step that we want to take, as I have said a little earlier, climate change is going to slow that progress. So also at the policy and planning at the governance at the national level, we have Vision 2050. Pillar 5 articulates climate change and environment sustainability. And then we have the MTDB4, Chapter 10 talks about climate resilience and climate mitigation and adaptation. So it captured very well there in MTDB4 because that's the government's blueprint, and this is where government's development priority is. So it's well captured there. And coming out of the Paris Agreement, it also, this issue is captured in Article 5, 6, and 7. 5 is where it talks about REDD+, reducing emissions to forest deforestation and degradation, as well as Article 6 is talking about losses and damage, and then Article 7 is where we come in. And then within Article 7, it calls for all countries to come up with a national adaptation plan. So we have successfully launched our Papua New Guinea National Adaptation Plan. This is a document that we are very proud of, especially in my division in CCDA. It's called the Papua New Guinea National Adaptation Plan. It comes out of Article 7 and 9. And then we also have the Paris Agreement Ratification Act, which means when we ratify, we have to move into implementation of the Paris Agreement. Then we have the CCMA Act and enhanced nationally determined contribution. There's a chapter in there where it talks about adaptation actions. So it's very well captured at the legal and policy area, at the order. So it's well positioned to be able to address climate change when it comes to their governance arrangements and the network with our partners and all this. What remains and remains the challenging bit is the funding.
Okay, Mr. Ekinia, in terms, climate change is a global phenomenon. In PNG, how widespread is it? Some of the pilot projects that you're undertaking, this mitigation and all that, has been mostly maritime provinces where there's rising sea level, coral bleaching, all that issue. But how widespread is it? Say, for example, in the highlands, is climate change affecting that part of the region as well? And if so, how so?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. As I said, development interventions are usually pilot projects, and that's the unfortunate thing. And we always continue to say that the lessons derived from those interventions will help us to, as a government and executing agency and the mandated authority, to replicate and move into other areas. But you are right, because the climate challenges are different in different geographical locations. Even within one province, the problem, for example, in Medang, you would have the coastal erosion. And then the problem or challenge in the Bundi area would be different. They would be faced with landslip, for example, or here in the central. In the Gaire village, they would be faced with sea level rise and coral reef bleaching because they are not able to catch fish closer to the shore anymore. With increasing sea temperature, people are having to move out into the open sea and therefore risking themselves to find fish and so forth. And then up in Tolokuma, it's a different challenge altogether, up in the mountains of Central Province. So that's the situation for all country. So when we came up with the national Papua New Guinea National Adaptation Plan that I was talking about, we need to really go down to the provincial level and come up with a provincial adaptation plan, and that's phase 2 of our exercise in rolling out adaptation plans at the sub-national level and especially in the local communities, because the challenges and the problems, adversities that we are talking about are happening out in our rural communities, and we need to address them through a policy, and we are looking at rolling out provincial adaptation plan to all 22 provinces. And like you said, different sectors in this regions in this country, like for example, the islands region, people come to our office and say, what about our area? We are facing the same problems. And we have the National Disaster Center, if I may add. Previously, they used to have some pool of resource where they used to attend to people who have floods and some disaster, used to come with proposals and they used to be assisted. Now they are going to them, coming to our office with the, whatever application form that they could find, but we don't have resources here to give out to them.
Mr. Ekinia, before we wrap up our interview tonight, anything else you'd like to add before we conclude the show?
Thank you very much. I'd like to state here that, I've said it, our budget is very minimal. And like I said, we would like to involve all the private sector, development partners, and all those that I have mentioned already to work together to address this climate change issue. With the Papua New Guinea National Adaptation Plan and the ratification of the Paris Agreement, it all remains for us to implement. And the implementation at the rural communities requires that we all work together. But we cannot have plans there without funding. And this is why I'd like to stress that we need to come up with a funding stream. We need, my team are thinking of talking with the National Economic and Fiscal Commission, with Treasury, with the provincial and local level government. In terms of service delivery, we would like, at the moment, as you know, we have function grants for 4 key sectors: health, education, transport infrastructure, and administration function grants going to the sub-national level. We would like to incorporate the climate change function grant. And we would like to, we are thinking about it now, so that, we can say as much as we want, but if there is no funding stream from the national government going to the sub-national level, specifically to address climate change, then we can talk all day long. Not much will happen. And the other area is we would like to have establish maybe a climate resilient trust fund. We already, in our submission of the Papua New Guinea National Adaptation Plan, we got approval from the National Executive Council, and now we are looking at some technical expertise in the finance area to establish a climate resilient trust fund. Because the problem we have in this country is when a problem comes, it's an ad hoc approach. We are getting resources from one budget item or from somewhere to attend to this. So we are expecting development partners, so NGOs, CBOs to address those things. We really have to have resources that's like on-call resources. So this is why I would like, support in this area to come up with a climate resilient trust fund to be managed not by CCDA, with the board of trustees and our, elder or some statesman from this country, just to be run by separate, But the idea is that we have a pool of resources that people can call on, and we can attend to people, because these things happen without warning. It happens anytime, and government does not budget for things that they are not certain. It's not, that's not in the frame of mind. So even our MPs and all that, it's unforeseen things that we are talking about. So it would be best to establish a fund that we can call on when we are in need in times of emergency and disaster and so forth. Other than that, thank you very much, and thank you, your team, for the opportunity to share this information with everyone in this country. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Mr. Ekinia, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. And that was Jacob Ekinia. He's the project director for the Building Resilience to Climate Change project. Also on the show, we had Frank Alcam, is the project manager for Building Resilience to Climate Change project, BRCC. And that too has been our program for tonight and for the week as well. I'm Jerry Tave. Have a pleasant evening and a safe weekend. Good night.